Hello, this is Miriam from Betwixt and Between Theatre, and today I'm gonna show you the third part of our body percussion sequence. If you haven't done part 1 or 2 yet, or if you can't quite remember how those parts were going, please check out the earlier blog posts about them. They are in 2 separate other videos called Feel the Rhythm 1 and Feel the Rhythm 2. And I will just jump into the third part and explain it to you, and at the end of this video we can combine all the 3 parts. Okay. So this last section has 4 sounds. The first one is a clap, and then there are 2 slaps or pats on your legs, and the fourth one is the snap. And if you already know part 1 and 2, the snap is always at the very end of a sequence. So this part goes like this. So you see, it's always the same movement, but there are 2 things which might make this sequence a bit more tricky. The first thing is that you really need to feel very comfortable with doing this. So it might be that you're getting stuck because your hands are just not rolling like this. So if you think you have problems with that, then just practice doing this until you feel very secure and can have a conversation with it. And second thing, which is a bit tricky, is that it's you're having those elements stacked together quite rapidly, and sometimes it's hard to know where to find yourself in those stacked clap, pats. I always imagine this movement as a triangle. So we have the top point clap, and then we have the one bottom point of the triangle and the other one with the 2 pats on the legs. So I always imagine I'm actually making a triangle, and it doesn't matter if you're using your right hand first or your left hand, that's completely up to you. But you need to be doing this triangle, which is clap, pat, pat. This I call the open triangle. There is also a closed triangle, which has another clap at the end. So it looks like this. Clap, pat, pat, clap. I call it a closed triangle because I feel like I'm closing a door when I'm doing it. And so the whole sequence is actually a sequence of those triangles. You can also count the movements, and you could say the clap is always a 1, and the 2 pats are 2 and 3. So you would actually count 1, 2, 3, and if it's a closed triangle, it's 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, so the clap is always a 1. That might also help you to find your orientation in the sequence. And while I'm explaining this, I might use different ways of different kinds of wordings to go with it, because I think it really helps if you speak what you're doing while you're doing it, because it makes a connection between your brain and the movement when you're kind of telling yourself what you're doing. But it might be that it's easier for you to say just 1, 2, 3, and maybe for others it's clap, leg, leg, or a clap, pat, pat. So choose whatever works fine for you. I will try to switch a little bit between all of them. So let's start. This sequence starts with 2 open triangles with a little break between them. So it sounds like this. Yeah, so if you would count it, it would be clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, pause. Or 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, pause. So you have this tiny little pause between the end of the open triangle and the beginning again. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, pause. Or clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, pause. So this is the easy part, because now we are starting to stack the claps or the triangles together. So the next little pattern is an open triangle followed by a closed triangle without a pause in between. And it sounds like this. Yeah? So you see you have a clap at the end, which means it's a closed triangle. So let's do it with words. It's clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, clap. Or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Or if you just want to count how many triangles you're actually making, you could also do it like this. 1, 2, yeah. And we count this last clap as part of the last triangle. Then we have a short pause again until we get into the third part. But before we do that, let's combine the first part and the second part. So let's start together. 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, clap. Yeah? Let's do it again a little bit slower. Clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, clap. That's working well, isn't it? And now we are already in the third stack, which is the last one. And here we have 3 open triangles stacked together without a pause. Then we have, after the last open triangle, we have a short pause, a clap, a pause, and a snap, which means, hey, it's the end. So that's how it sounds. And because the clap before the snap has a little pause before it, I'm not counting it as a part of the triangle, but as a separate entity. And that's why I'm saying it's 3 open triangles and not 2 open triangles followed by a closed triangle. I hope that's clear. Okay, let's try it all together. So it's clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pause, snap. Yeah? Does it work? Yeah? If you just want to count how many triangles you're making, because that might be easier just to say while you're doing it. It's a lot of words otherwise. You can also do it like this. It's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, or 1, 2, 3, pause. It's quite difficult to say the pause, I have to admit, in this, but you have to feel it. You don't have to say it. Can you feel it in your chest? Yeah, so that was the last part already. So it looks complicated, but it actually is not. You just have to know how many triangles are following. And it's actually easy. You start with simple triangles, which are separated by a pause. Then you have 2 triangles, an open and a closed one. And then you have 3 triangles, and then it's already the end. Yeah? That's the end. Okay, so now let's do it all together. And let's use the clap pat word together and to do it together. And let's do it quite slowly because I'm getting out of breath when I'm saying all the words with that one. Okay, it's clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, clap, pause, clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, clap, pat, pat, pause, clap, pat, snap. Whew! Yeah, did that work? Let's do it a bit faster. I will not say the pauses anymore, because I think that's something you eventually need to feel anyway. It's just to explain you the structure of the rhythm. And let's count 1, 2, 3. Yeah? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Clap, snap. Very good. And let's do it even a little faster and just count the triangles, not the individual movements. So like 1, 1, 1, 2. Yeah? Let's do it that way. And let's go. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Clap, snap. That's it. That was this sequence, which is the last sequence, and now we have to put all the 3 sequences together. Do you remember? It starts with the chest hand one, and then it's followed by the stamp clap, and then it's followed by this one, the clap, pat, pat. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Soon have some occasions to show this off, teach it to others, because it's always more fun to clap and snap and groove together, because rhythm is something that is uniting people. I hope you had some fun. Leave us some comments if you like that, and yeah, I hope to hear back from you, and I hope you had some fun. Bye bye!